Dumpster Divas, welcome back to another episode of Dumpster Dive with me, Tom Hamlet. It is a great day because it is a deep dive throwback recap day, my favorites, and we are coming to the end of Summer House coverage, which actually is making me kind of sad because, to be honest with y'all, I've been talking about Summer House since January. We only have one more week of coverage here on season 5. This is the finale week, but then next week is the reunion coverage, and then we'll move on to something else. What that is, I haven't totally landed on just yet, but I got some ideas. I kind of am thinking about navigating away from Bravo just for a recap, but I don't know. I really have been thinking about a Mob Wives season. I've also been thinking about a season of America's Next Top Model, or going all the way back to VH1 reality and doing some sort of like Flavor of Love, Rock of Love coverage. So let me know what you guys think about a non-Bravo show, because I want to diversify the content a little bit, because this podcast is very Bravo heavy, Bravo forward, but there's more that I like and there's more that y'all like too. So let me know what you think. But today we are talking about Summer House season 5 episode 12. So make sure to go watch that. It is on Peacock. And make sure to subscribe to the Dumpster Dive YouTube channel if you want a video version of this show. And the Patreon and the YouTube both have some paid tiers where you can get early access to all of my content and also ad-free versions of all of my content. On Patreon and on YouTube, it is $4.99 for the Trash Talk tier. And then it is $14.99 on both for the Trash Philanthropist tier. My Trash Philanthropists get a nice big shout out at the end of Dumpster Dive episodes. Also, if you want to support the show without your cash dollars, I support that as well. Just give me a nice little rating, a subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed somewhere, go find a new place to subscribe to Dumpster Dive. So that's what I got for you today. Let's dive into this week's episode. So this was a good episode, a little bummer. It was kind of bummer house in the words of Ryan Bailey, but we start out with the fallout after Hannah versus the girls. They're, talking to her about why she is throwing Kyle under the bus out of nowhere, her conversation about Dez, all of that. And she kind of storms out, and it's just really silly that she thinks that she just has this mindset where she's always right. She can't be wrong. She really struggles seeing the other side of things, and she really feels vindicated in everything she ever does. So this is a really tough episode for Hannah. She doesn't come across great. Her energy is really rancid this whole episode, and I want to support women on reality TV, but I'm struggling with Miss Burner. And she's like, I will fight for my man. She's saying that to Sierra, and I'm like, Hannah, baby, you've known this man for 2 seconds. That's what you told us. The way you're talking about fighting for him makes me think that you've known him for quite some time. But we may never know about that timeline, but it's just a little silly to me. You're fighting so hard for a man you barely know. Makes you think. Then we get a little cut to Lindsay talking to Stravy, and Lindsay is lit. Lindsay is twisted. Lindsay is effed up. And she said to Stravy in her "what a fucking" voice, she goes, "Did you have a fun day today? When I'm determined to have a good day, I have a good day." Lindsay can never leave reality television. I don't care how many babies she has. I don't care how many businesses she starts. I don't care how many menses she has. Lindsay never leave. When you leave reality TV, the world gets a little sad. The world gets to be a darker place without you there. Never leave reality TV. Because when I'm determined to have a good day, I have a good day. Why is it when she gets drunk, she puts on this baby voice? So she's like, I'm a little baby who had too much savvy bean. Wanna fuck me? You know how Danny Pellegrino has a soundboard? I used to have a soundboard. I actually still have it. It's out of reach, so it's hard to operate, and there's some tech. I'm dealing with some tech difficulties these days because we transferred to a new setup. So I've landed on a good setup right now, and everything should sound and look good. But I do apologize if there were some episodes where things were sounding and looking a little wonky. We've landed back in a good place. Been doing some quality control, and we have arrived. So I appreciate your patience, but I wish I had my soundboard at the ready because I would love to make a button that just says "Manafect me." It would get me demonetized everywhere. I'm sure someone's going to come after me for saying that phrase 5,000 times. I also appreciate y'all for humoring my Goontown Jerk City tick of last week. I promise I won't say it too many times this week either. But Hannah calls Des to unpack everything that happened with the girls and everything with Luke, and how Luke said that he wouldn't want to get a drink with Des. Because remember, we're coming off of the beach day they had. That's why everyone is little Litty Titty. And Des just continues to confess his love for Hannah. Y'all, they give me rancid vibes. I can't describe it. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but it's just not for me. Just not for me. And while they're doing that, everyone except Hannah is having a conversation about planning for tomorrow's fake wedding. The finale, they knew this is their last weekend in the house, and they're like, let's plan a wedding for Kaimanda since they're not getting married for yet another year. Because I think they had a 3 or 4 year engagement. And this was part of the episode that made me really sad, is Amanda and Kyle were really happy. It's really dark to say that, especially being where we are now. Like, imagining them happy seems so far from where we are now, but they were. And it's just a bummer. Just a bummer. And Lindsay, then we get this weird Franken editing moment where everyone goes to like get ready for dinner tonight. They're just having dinner at the house, but they all go to like their rooms for a second. And all of the shots aren't looking at anyone's mouths. And we get audio of Lindsay saying in her drunk baby voice that since he's back, I want to get married right now and start popping out babies. And it's weird because it's clear she didn't say this at this moment. I feel like she said it at a different moment, and they're just trying to piece it together, like, for dramatic, intent. I don't know if this sentence was said this week. Like, it could have been said early on when he was at the house the first time around, but Lindsay's just talking about how she wants to have babies with Stravi, and then they're about to fight. It's all very weird. Paige calls Perry, and essentially in so many words is like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And I support that for you, Paige, because Paige felt free from the shackles of a man this summer. And the thing is with Paige, like, I really could see her. I know allegedly she's with a man now and has a boyfriend. I think is he a professional sports player? Baseball player? I don't know. I kind of see her riding solo. I could see her just like having fun flings, but she feels so alive when she's solo, and she feels so tied down when she's with a man that sometimes it's hard to see what the man is for her, Do y'all agree? Because with Craig, so many moments of her stuff with Craig was like, you gotta shut up, or you gotta go away, or you gotta do this. And I kind of get that. I mean, I live a very independent life in my relationship. Like, we like to make sure that we do a lot together, but still also do things separate. So maybe that is Paige's mindset too. But these men she wants to be with always want to be in and around her at all times, which I get. She's hot and she's funny, but sometimes I think she's better off on her own, and then everyone is playing Jenga and crying and doing cheers and laughing and sad because summer's over and it was the best summer of their life. And Lindsay gets blackout. Wanna fuck me? And so Lindsay's blackout. And what does she do when she's blackout? We all know the answer to this. And that is stir up drama. Okay? So she starts stirring. In the words of Luann, she's starting. And Lindsay, she's raging. She's standing on the kitchen counter throwing balls like ping pong, beer pong balls at people's heads. And then she goes up to Stravy and she's like, "Baby, what should I drink now? Baby, what should I drink now?" Stravy said the wrong thing at the wrong time. And he says, water? Maybe coffee? And Lindsay goes, "Why are you so boring sometimes? Wanna fuck me?" She's turning into the demon. She's turning into Samara from The Ring. She's fully Samara from The Ring in this moment. She's like, "You have 7 days. 7 days to fuck me." She literally is like, "I need to go downstairs. Will you come with me?" And he's like, "What? No." And she goes and she is crawling down the stairs. She looks like she's about to death becomes herself down these stairs. Like fully death becomes her, like head turned backwards down these stairs. She is crawling down them. Crawling. Blackout. She gets down there because she wants to, I think, bone with Stravy. And she texts Stravy. She's like, "Come hang out with me. Come hang out with me." And Stravy's like, not answering. And she's like, "You don't like me? Why did you come hang out with me?" And then she storms back upstairs and she goes, "If you don't care about your fucking girlfriend, then fuck off." She suddenly turns into Jack Nicholson in The Shining. "Here's Johnny." She goes, "Come down and hang out with me." And then he goes down, and then they just start fighting. Screaming, fighting. She tells him to shut the F up. Stravy says, "I'm done. I'm out. I'm leaving." And then Lindsay runs back upstairs and is like, "Why does this happen to me? Why does this always happen to me?" Lindsay, girl, I love you down, but you're in a prison of your own making. A prison of your own making. Here, on this one. So, that's what's going on with our girl, Lindsay. And essentially all of them convince Stravy not to leave, and so everyone goes to bed, and he ends up staying the night. The next morning, Lindsay is hungover as all hell, and Stravy tries to talk to her, and she's like, "Can I at least have my coffee first?" You know Lindsay's going to become the, like, 60-year-old woman with the home goods signs that say, like, "Coffee then wine. Don't talk to me before my coffee. Don't talk to me before my savvy bee." That's the vibe she gives, don't you think? That's what I think. And Hannah and Amanda decide to have a little sit down, and they chat about like everything that they were fighting about the day before. And Amanda asks a really astute question. I have to give it to her. Amanda feels so grounded in this season. I don't know if it's because she's not hitting the weed pen constantly. I don't know if it's because she's just the SSRIs are all lined up right, but whatever cocktail she's on needs to be the cocktail that we keep going, or that she finds again.
Late night bites with friends? Already hard to beat. That first too hot bite of fries you couldn't wait for, followed by ice cold Pepsi. Now that hits different. Suddenly, the energy kicks back in, the night goes longer, and the laughs don't stop. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
Teens share everything. That may include the bacteria that can cause meningococcal disease known as meningitis. Even if your teen's been vaccinated in the past, they could still be missing meningitis vaccinations. Ask your teen's doctor or visit meningitis.com today. Sponsored by GSK.
Because I never loved Amanda on the show, but I miss this version of her for her. Because she really, truly seems energized, happy, driven, and I just don't see that with her in West. But she says to Hannah, the astute thing that she says, she goes, "Do you bring up Kyle in our arguments so you can hurt me?" And Hannah looks taken aback by it because you know it's true. You know this is why she does it. It's there in her spirit. Like, it really is. Like, this is why she says these things, because she knows how to hurt people. She's one of those people that are fighters, that they love to fight in a relationship, in a friendship, and they know the buttons to push to get that fight ignited, and that's what she's doing when she does it. And that was a really astute observation, Amanda. I have to tip my hat to you on that one. And they kind of make up, but I don't really buy it. Now Danielle and Lindsay, they sit down and baby Danielle clocks Lindsay's ass. Clocks Lindsay's ass. And says, Lindsay's like, I don't think my boyfriend likes me. And she's like, am I the problem in this relationship? And Danielle says, yeah, absolutely. And Lindsay looks at Danielle. She's like, excuse me? Do you know who you're talking to? I'm Lindsay Hubbard. She doesn't say that, but her energy, I don't know if this is a Franken editing moment, but her energy looks like she's about to tussle. And then, it cuts back to her and she's like, you're probably right. I push people away. I just push people away. Push and push and push until someone leaves me. What am I going to do? And in the end, she does do this. And I think she's still doing it. She did that with Carl. She pushed Carl to move on her timeline Carl wasn't ready for it. I actually do think I don't want them together. I want to clarify. And they've been doing these photo shoots and press appearances together, canoodling, and it makes me feel invigorated and it makes me feel scared. I feel very scared. As I just said, I feel scared. I feel scared. It really freaks me out. I just don't. They've gone. Unfortunately, they've gone too far. They can't go back to where they were. They can be friends. I don't think they can be together. However, I do think if they had gotten together at a different point, if they'd waited longer to get together, waited longer to get engaged, I think that they could have had a bit more of a successful run. The problem was that Lindsay has a timeline. She needs her baby. Carl was still kind of newly in his sobriety journey. He had been in it, but he was like finally in a place of like embracing it. And a lot of people say, and Carl talks about this, but like as a newly sober person, you should not be trying to fill that void with new relationships because it can lead to toxicity because you're sometimes looking for a toxic replacement, something to replace using with, and that can become a toxic relationship. So that's kind of what Carl fell into, unfortunately, and he did the right thing by wrapping it up before it went too far, even though it went pretty far. But I don't think you can come back from that. I don't think you can try to be together again. And I'm not saying they're trying, but the vibes online really freak me out. So Lindsay, you push. And maybe now that you have a kid, I think maybe now that Jim is in the picture, she understands relationships a little bit in a different way. And maybe she won't push anymore. But I think pushing these men away from her had a lot to do with her desire to be a mother. Because she's one of those people in life that is like, being a mother is what I've always wanted. It's what I need for me. And people like that are fantastic moms. And so I tip my hat to Lindsay on being a mom and being able to get to that, sort of on her own with someone. But I think that's why she pushed so hard on Stravy and why she pushed so hard on Carl, excuse me. Yeah, Danielle also says you're testing him. You're testing Stravy to do something wrong. And he keeps passing, or he keeps failing these tests. And whether that's a sign that you should wrap it up, or that's a sign that, like, you're just pushing, it's not a sign of a healthy relationship. And then we cut to Kymanda, and they're talking about how Carl and Paige are going to be in their bridal parties, and their groomsmen, and then the bridesmaids. So they go and ask them, and it's very sweet and very sad. It's sweet and sad. It really is, especially because Paige doesn't fuck with Amanda anymore, allegedly. It's all really, really dark. I want Amanda to go back and watch season 5 of Summer House. I think that is something that should happen. Because I want her to see where her relationships were with this group of people. Because things were in a really good place. And things change. And relationships aren't always in a good place. But I do think it would provide some perspective on where you've been and where you can go to next. I don't know if I was on a show if I would revisit. For instance, okay, so I filmed this BB40, Donnie and Chelsea from I'm the Cute One. Go subscribe to I'm the Cute One, the podcast. It's one of my favorite shows. And they're two of my dearest friends. And for Donnie's birthday, we had Big Brother at this big castle. There was 40 of us playing Big Brother. Now, the episodes are still airing, so I won't reveal too much. But right now, I'm still in the game, and while the episodes are airing, and I had to stop going back and watching them because it starts to get a little traumatic towards the end of it because there was real drama, like drama, capital D drama that goes down. And that was the first time I understood why some of these stars don't like to watch their shows. And this is on a much lower level. Once again, much smaller level. We're not hosting a reunion about this or anything. But I did have a moment where I was like, okay, I do kind of get why you don't go back. Because it is kind of hard to see yourself in traumatic situations where either you or someone else was the agitator, and it just puts you back in that place. So I actually do understand not wanting to go back and watch some of your moments on TV and just letting the public have at with them. But I do want to Clockwork Orange Amanda. Tie her to a bed, pin her eyelids back, and make her watch season 5 of Summer House. Don't clip that. Please don't clip that out. Y'all, please don't clip that. That sounds insane. But you know what I'm saying. We need some perspective, and I would love if she could maybe get some eyeballs and some scenes from season 5 of Summer House, because this was a really good season for her. You know who does need to be Clockwork Oranged is Luke from The Valley. He does need to be Clockwork Orange and watch his ass on television so he understands how he treats his wife or fiance, because who knows if they'll actually get married. Kristen Doute, whatever her last name is, because those two are tough stuff. So everyone gets ready for the wedding. Lindsay says that she is not ready to move in with Stravy, and I said, no shit, Sherlock. I thought she was going to break up with his ass. She goes out and she's like, hey, so I want to talk. I am not ready to move in. Not really ready to move in. So that's just going to be what it is. I was in shock. I was like, oh, wait, I thought this is where they broke up. This is where they broke up. Oh my God. And then they're all standing at the processional altar moment before the wedding. And Hannah says to Paige, 50% of weddings end in divorce. Do you hear that? The sirens are coming. Is that Kymanda coming to get my ass? Because, baby, their marriage ended in divorce. They were part of the 50%. That stat is not good. Let me tell you that. Carl officiates, and he does a really cute job. It really breaks my heart how much Carl reveres these two as couple goals, because I think now he would say not the case. I think he's grown a lot since then, but these two really meant a lot to him, and it is really sad to see him so all in on these two, and I want to be like, this is not the pinnacle. This is not the pinnacle of success, these two. But I understand in this moment why they seem like a good match, because they do feel good here. As Dorinda says to Luann and Tom, you just know when it's right. And it's right. Anyways, Paige gives a speech about being a bridesmaid, and this is the first time Hannah starts to hear about the fact that Paige is, in fact, a bridesmaid. And that doesn't land well, and Hannah is just a bitter little... She just is. I'm sorry. She's so bitter. She's so angry. In the words of Lisa Rinna, you're so angry. You're so angry. She is. It's, oh God. It's a real struggle. It really is. And she says in her confessional, this summer I chose to stick up to Kyle. And I guess this is Paige's reward for staying quiet by being a bridesmaid. I'm sorry. What are you talking about? You started so much mess with Kyle. The origin of Kyle yelling at you was because you didn't take out the trash. That was the origin of that fight. And the producer says in the chair while she's doing a confessional, like, do you actually want to even go to this wedding? And Hannah goes, no. Shut up. Shut up. You do. You do want to go. You want to be on camera. You want to be a part of the group. You want to be a part of the girls. You want to be. You said Kyle is the man. Kyle's the man. You do want to be at that wedding. You're just mad as hell that they disinvited you probably again by the time you started filming confessionals. So, let's see what else happens. And then we end. No, I mean that is the end. They do their cheerses, and then we get the traditional summer house naked pool jump where they all strip down to their skivvies and jump in the pool, and it really is sad to see the season end. It was a great season. Really, truly, this is one of the best Bravo seasons in any of their shows. I would put it in the top 10. I wouldn't say like the most cultural impact, because we're having a lot of those conversations right now with my Housewives retrospectives about what put things on the map, what's the best, what is the most cultural impact. Sometimes the best doesn't have the same cultural impact. I thought it was really interesting how on Radio Andy Cohen was talking about how there's a list circulating of like the best housewife moments, one of which being Nene saying, bling, 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 bitches is mad. And he's like, why is this in the top 20 best housewife moments? And people online were like, you're just mad. You just don't like him. You don't like Nene, all this stuff. I'm like, that's not true. It isn't one of the best housewives moments. It is one of the best memes that came out of Housewives. But that scene was kind of innocuous when it happened. A lot of these memeable moments were very innocuous scenes. For instance, Kenya Moore being like, this is a potential mother, became like a meme on Twitter. But that's not a scene in Housewives that you like run to be like, I have to watch Kenya say that someone is a potential mother, you know? It's just like the context of Black Twitter, gay Twitter that makes these things funny. Doesn't mean it's a great Housewives moment. But this season, I would say, is in the list of the top 10 most rewatchable seasons of Bravo shows. I really think it is. Summer House goes down easy, and I really think this season specifically has kind of a nostalgic place in the timeline because of COVID. So if you are just listening to these recaps and just vibing, go back and actually watch it. It really is such a delight. We also get the reunion trailer. I'm actually thinking about doing a reunion trailer watch back before the episode comes out next week of me recapping the two. I'm going to recap both reunions together. But I forgot about all these moments in this trailer for season 5. We get Paige going, "Fuck you, Danielle," and then we also get the Hannah brought up Carl having a drug problem on a podcast, and that I forgot about. Whose podcast was that? Let's start some drama. Hannah Berner, Radke, drug problem podcast. Let's see. Where is it? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like it was on. You know what? I'm not going to say anyone's. Oh, wait, here we go. Hannah Berner says there's Adderall going around with her Summer House co-stars on. Oh, no. It was on beloved Danny's podcast that she said that. I forgot about that. She says, quote, "I'm not a good drinker. That was the hardest part. Me getting enough outfits for the show and keeping up with the drinking. And anyone who's seen the show knows there's a lot of drinking going on." Danny says, "It is a lot of drinking. How much drinking? It's literally every weekend, right?" And Hannah says, "Yeah, and like if we wake up and they're all like, oh, we're going golfing, or oh, we're going to this event, it comes with alcohol." Danny admitted to Hannah, "I was shocked this week when you guys did that full Christmas party. Then you went out, then you went to brunch the next day. There would be no way I could handle that." And then Hannah got real and she said, "Well, I think there's some Adderall going around." And then she says, "Let's just say one morning Carl's nose was bleeding when we were playing tennis. I was like, how much Adderall are you snorting? And he was like, what? And I'm like, you're an idiot. I don't do Adderall, so that's why sometimes you see me not go out with them. I'm sorry, that's crazy to read back. This was E! News. Oh, sorry, this was Reality T wrote this article in May 2nd, 2019. And I guess, but this was pre them filming this season of Summer House. But I guess this is what they were referring to when they say that she brought up Carl having a drug problem. Allegedly, I guess, to all of this, it was on Danny Pellegrino's show. That's not Danny's fault. That's Hannah's fault for saying what she said. But you know what? This is why Danny doesn't interview people anymore, y'all. Clock that. Because y'all get all messy. Y'all get on there and start saying shit like this. Hannah, what were you doing? But that is the end of this episode. We're going to dive into more of Summer House next week with part 1 and 2 of the season 5 reunion. And then after that, we are going to... Let me break down the calendar actually for you guys, because it is important that you know what's going on the show. So next weekend, so a week from today when you're listening to this, you will get the Summer House part 1 and 2 recap. After that, we're going to take a little week off from deep dive recaps, and I have 2 episodes coming out about the challenge. I'm really enjoying the challenge this season, and I interview the author of the Book of Luke. It is a fictional novel about a challenge-like show, and it's written by Lovell Holder, and Lovell is coming on the show, and we're going to do a little interview chat about the Book of Luke and about how it kind of came to be. I really highly encourage you all to go read the Book of Luke. I had a blast reading it. I flew through it, and I'm a bit of a bookworm, so if you all have any other reality TV adjacent books, I would love to give them a little read. So we're going to have Lovell on, and then we're also going to have Kelly from Beyond the Blinds on to chat about the challenge. So that'll be in 2 weeks. And then after that, you will start to get some of these deep dives back again. So you have some time to think about what it is I should cover. Mob Wives, ANTM, another old school Bravo show. I would like to try and not do Bravo. So if there's a non-Bravo thing you want me to dive into, would love to do that. But make sure to support the show wherever you get your podcasts. I appreciate all of your love. And remember, if you want an ad-free version of this episode and early access version of this episode, check out the Patreon or become a member on YouTube for $4.99. And then if you have a little extra coin, there is a $15 tier on both the YouTube and on the Patreon that gets your name read here at the end of every episode. So I want to give a big shout out to my father, my mother, Andrew, Barbara, Kayla, Andrew, Brandon, Wendy, Sarah. Thank y'all so much. Sarah, you're new to the group. Welcome to the Trash Philanthropist crew. I really appreciate your pledge to be as trashy as possible. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Are you looking for a new favorite podcast? Are you looking for a podcast about movies? Are you looking for a podcast that strictly covers 80s, 90s, 2000s movies? Are you looking for a podcast that's going to be doing movies like So I Married an Axe Murderer, Hot Tub Time Machine, Grandma's Boy, and Ghost? Well, then you just found it. Tune in to The Confused Breakfast wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're into the Daily Bravo news, exclusive interviews, and just the mess, then don't miss my podcast, Up and Adam, where I'm your host, Adam Newell, on any and all platforms that you listen to your podcast. I'll see you soon.
Has anyone ever said to you, it's just a TV show? That's when you know it's time to cut them out of your life. If you don't think it's just a TV show, you'll probably love my podcast, She's Speaking with Emily Hanks, and it's available everywhere you get your podcasts.
Can I be a bitch for a second? Hey, I'm Raven James, host of the Bitches Better podcast. Join me each week as I dive into the latest in reality TV and pop culture. It's like gossiping with your best friend over a glass of wine. No filter and all the fun. And of course, I've got some personal stories to spill too. So settle in and let's chat.
Welcome to Bravo's Most Wanted, a new podcast hosted by Bravo celebrity Katie Janela.
And Bravo hot take queen Jamie Rice. From housewives drama to the messiest Bravo and pop culture moments, nothing's off limits and no one is safe.
Spicy opinions, insider perspective, and conversations others might be too afraid to have.
Follow Bravo's Most Wanted wherever you get your podcasts.